In this video, we're going to review simplification. It will really help our math problems and make things a little bit easier and manageable, and possibly a little more successful in time-sensitive scenarios and when we're dealing with very large numbers. So when we look at this problem, we have 160 times 10 over 30. We can do the math 160 times 10 and divide it out by 30, which is perfectly fine, and there's a lot of people that are very successful in doing that. Some people, like myself, like to make the numbers a little bit more manageable. So one thing to remember is I can simplify my zeros and cancel them out. If I have a zero above the line and a zero below the line, I can cancel those out. It's extremely important to understand that you have to go above and below. You never go left to right. So if I have two zeros above and one zero below, I can only do one above and one below. And we have 160 times 10 divided by 30. I have a couple different zeros here. I have one zero below the line, so I can take one zero above the line. And you can see in the green ink where the zeros are canceled out. So that should help you in understanding with a visual representation, one above and one below. So after I simplify those zeros, my new problem is 160 times 1 over 3, or 160 divided by 3. And remember, when I'm trying to figure out where the numbers go, all I have to do is take my 160 over 3 and turn it one place clockwise. So 3 on the outside, the 160 on the inside. 3 goes into 16 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. 16 minus 15 is 1. I bring down that remaining 0 that I haven't used yet. 10 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. I want to take it out to one decimal place. 3 doesn't go into 1. If at any point I'm going to add a 0, I have to add a decimal point and bring my 0 down. 3 goes into 10 3 times, so my answer is 53.3. One thing I'd like you guys to get in the habit of doing is circling your final answer. And that's not just for schooling purposes, even in the field when you're working on an ambulance. Whatever your number that you're working off of, circle that, and it's going to make you a little more successful and prevent any medication errors. In this example, we have 250 times 13 over 50. Sure, we have a 0 above and below, but we're also going to take this one step further in an attempt to make these numbers smaller and more manageable. As you can see in the red ink, I have a 0 above and a 0 below the line, so I'm going to cancel those zeros out and get my new problem of 25 times 13 over 5. Where I want to take this to the next level is I can simplify the 25 into 5, and we can do this with any number that is divisible by any number into both. Well, 5 goes into 5 one time, and 5 goes into 25 5 times. And you can see that in the green ink. So I put a slash through my 5 and put 1 below it, and put a slash through my 25 and put 5 above it. So my new problem now is 5 times 13 over 1. 5 times 13 is 65. And like I said, we circle that answer. So my problem, or my final answer, is 65. In this problem, you're going to see something very similar to a dopamine drip problem. While we're not going to go through all the details of where the numbers are and where they come from, we're going to focus on the simplification end of it and just focus on the math and making things a little more manageable. We have a lot of numbers here and a lot of colors. We're going to go through them all one at a time. So the first thing we're going to talk about are the zeros, and you can see that with the green ink. We simplified 3 zeros above, and like we talked about, 3 zeros below. So the 200,000, I took those 3 zeros off, and now my number is 200. I removed the 0 from the 20 and the 2 zeros from the 400. The next number we're going to use, or the next color I should say, is the orange. 5 goes into 5 one time, and 5 goes into 200 40 times. Next we're going to go to the pink. 4 goes into 4 one time, and 4 goes into 40 10 times. So my new problem now is 2 times 8, which is 16 over 10. As you can see, just slowly going through this, finding out which numbers we can divide into each other, we've made this number, or this problem, a lot more manageable, a lot smaller, and numbers that we can work with. Most people can commonly do them in their head. And now we're going to go through the long division. I have 16 over 10. Remember, we're going to turn it one time clockwise. 10 on the outside, 16 on the inside. 10 goes into 16 one time. 1 times 10 is 10. 16 minus 10 is 6. 10 doesn't go into 6, so I have to add a decimal point and bring a 0 down. 10 goes into 60 6 times, and 6 times 10 is 60, so we don't have a remainder, so it's 1.6. Just for an example, if we were to take this problem without simplification, our final answer, or final multiplication up on the top, would be 320,000 divided by 200,000. And some people can work through that problem without any issue. Me personally, I like to simplify and make it a little bit easier for me to work through.